Hi everyone! Today I'm gonna show you my finished pages for December. The month was very short for me, but somehow I've managed to do the most pages from all months I've been coloring. I guess it's 6 illustrations, but yeah, let's just count together. So I made a promise last month that I will finish all my whips during this month. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to fulfill it because I still have one illustration that was unfinished previous month and still unfinished this month. And yeah, let's just get this over with. It's this one. Yeah, I've made a lot of work with the background and the last dragon, and then I just stacked on this bottom background. Yeah, it's been a hard ride because, you know, it's all pencil work, so no watercolors magic with covering a lot of space in a few seconds. And I started to notice that some of this paint job become too faded. So you can see that somewhere the colors are very bright and somewhere they're just very, very dull. It wasn't my intention. So the background there should be pretty much the same as there, but the intensity of the color is really different and it's very noticeable. But yeah, and another thing that the paper is very smooth, so Prismacolors works well on this paper, but any other pencils I own, like Brut Funes or Polychromos or Castle Arts, are not so well performing. And it's a bit of a shame because I prefer to use all my colors combined, and when I can only use one of my sets, it's quite upsetting. And moreover, I don't have the full Prismacolor set, so I had only about 100 of pencils there, and there are still some colors missing from it. So yeah, not very pleasant. And when I trying to use solvent for pencils, blenders that I've been using lately, this one, it's just pushing colors around and not actually going into the paper itself. So I still can see some whites of the paper, but the color's been a little bit washed out, so they're not so vibrant anymore. So yeah, that's a bit of a struggle. Maybe I will do a short video to showcase what I'm dealing with, but I still love this picture. I still think I'll figure out how to finish it sooner or later. Maybe I will just end up using like acrylics or watercolors on this paper just to do the work quicker. It will be not so nice because all the rest is pencil colors, so if I would do only the dragons for now, so I can do the background in watercolors or acrylics, but now most of the background is also done with pencils and I don't know how to solve this. So I'm stuck. Yeah, I'm pretty much stuck, but I guess the inspiration will strike me somehow and I will just get over it. I don't know. So the first whip that I finished this month was in this book, in this very beautiful Japanese anime manga book. Okay, I finished this girl. So this is Thumbelina. I used mostly acrylics for it, so I used a little bit of pencils work on the flowers, but the rest of it is all watercolors, and it was surprisingly pleasant experience for me. Oh yeah, and the hair is also done with pencils, as you can see. So working with watercolors on this paper was surprisingly great experience because it's smooth, but it's also have this feel like it's a little bit plastic, I don't know. So there is a something on the top of the paper to help you hold the water well. So when I'm applying my watercolors, they are not easily sucked into the paper, and you can even erase something with an electrical eraser. So you can actually erase the paint from the paper. So this is something I've been doing on the leaves. So initially I used a very bright color for the leaves, like a very bright green, and then I decided that it was not so not suitable for this page, so I just erased the whole sections of the color, and it became this pale green. Yeah, this was kind of surprising. I think I should seal the page because of this, because it's erasing from the page, the paint leaving the page itself, just like with pencils. And also I added these bubbles to the page because it felt like it was just very empty. So a really nice one, I think. It went surprisingly well. I'm not happy with my last minute decision to make these dark corners, like a vignette effect, but well, it's just me. I really like to ruin my work in the last few minutes. After everything done, I just decide to, well, what if I add something like this? And then I add it, and then it looks terrible. But I still have no regrets, because this is a process of learning. You can do it only by making your own mistakes. I'm really happy that this one is done. I really like this book. I think there are many very beautiful images, and the style is really calling to me. I like this one with Rapunzel a lot. So this is a very beautiful book, but I think that I will just put it on the shelf for a few months, because I was really overwhelmed by this page, because I painted it like from August, and I get really tired of this image. So I just need to get rid of it for a couple of months, and then I can really get back and have a pleasure coloring here. Also, I had several whips in this book, which is called Flower Paradise, and the first one I finished was this one. I had really just these sections undone, so I did all this part, and this one was undone. And actually, if you really pay a lot of attention, you'll see that the color between this section and this section is a little bit different. Yeah, I used the numbers of the pencils. I wrote it down after I decided that it's gonna be a long-term project, and put it aside because it looked awful and I didn't know how to fix this. But still, I pulled these pencils out, but I couldn't really replicate what I've already done because my coloring skills changed. And yeah, it's noticeable. It's noticeable that highlight there are a bit bolder than there, and overall the pencil work is a little bit better, I guess, at some places at least. Yeah, I showed it on the video how I did this part. I also redid the petals a little bit and leaves a lot because I wasn't happy with my pencil work. So I just brought here some acrylics, shadows and highlights, and then I just get inspired and redo the whole thing. There are still some pencil work on the petals, but the leaves I completely covered with paint and redo it from scratch basically. So now I can say that this work is done. It's not perfect by any means, but it's done, and it's very unusual color palette for me because I don't like yellow or reds at all. So it was really hard to pull off, and I'm happy I did it. And another whip in this book I finished was this one. Well, I didn't consider it as a whip because it was more like a relaxation page that I did for a while, but I decided to finish it and I did. So this is the end result. It was really anti-stress coloring because there is a lot of details and they all are very simply done. So it was just mindless coloring, just putting pencil on the paper and that's it. But I'm still happy with the result. I think it's look nice and it's suited for this book. So happy I finished it. I also started a new illustration in this book there. It's done with watercolors, but I wasn't able to finish it. So you can say that it is a whip, and I didn't finish it till the end of the year, but I started it in like 25th of December or something like this. So I don't really consider it as a, you know, long-term whip that is haunting me during nights. No, it's just a new picture I started. So yeah, it's still work in progress, nevertheless. So I guess this is it for this book. And let's see the next one. Here I have a page that is still a whip, I guess, but it's intentional. So I'm making one illustration each season, and this season was winter season, so I did this small illustration, and I still have spring one untouched because yeah, I'm waiting for March or April to touch it. But I'm really happy with the winter one. I think it's very cozy and bright at the same time. I like this red cup I did. I like the toys here and the snowman. And actually I think I really improved my fur, because even there the fur looks not so natural as there. I think here it's a proper fur. I'm really happy with this fur, and I'm really happy with this pine stuff. And the color palette is unusual, I guess, but I was really inspired with one image I saw with the town in the evening and the red and yellow lights, and it was so beautiful that I decided to replicate it as a color palette. Happy how it's going. This was the first one, this was the second one, and this is the third one. I can't see, well, a huge progress between this one and this, because yeah, there was only a few week difference between them, but I can really see the progress from this one to this one. Yeah, they look quite different. It's a bit darker on the camera, so it doesn't look so dark in real life, I guess. Something like this. So beautiful illustration. I like it a lot. And another Christmassy illustration. I'm not really proud of this one, but it's there. It's done. Okay, so I'm not really happy with the color choices, but I like the present, and I was really enjoying coloring these balls, these toys. Very shiny, like really like metal. I use reference for them. And I also pleased with the skirt for the girl, and yeah, her look overall. I think I really improved my terrible hair work. So you can see how I did hair there, and wow. Does this look like spaghetti to me, black spaghetti with white highlights, and there it's more natural, I think. Yeah, just some parts of this illustration are great. So I used pencils for balls and for toys and for the girl, but I really used a lot of watercolor there. So not only background, the whole tree made with watercolors. This guy made with watercolors, I think all of him, including his dress, and these, I don't know, presents. I don't know what it is exactly, these cones, but they're also done with watercolors. So this was a fun one. I made it in like 1.5 evening, and it was really enjoyable. So despite I'm not really happy with the result, the process was amazing. And the last one, it was a whip there. It's Imagomorphia by Kirby Razans, and now it's finished double spread. This was a tough one, I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot of work because all these swans are done with pencils only. So I did the background a few months ago. It was for a challenge I did for myself, where I choose 4 covers of albums, musical albums, and I decided to replicate the palette on these covers in my work. I did 3 of them, and the last one was unfinished because I only managed to do the background. Well, it wasn't a wise choice to choose Kirby double page spread for it, but yeah, that was a choice. That was a choice I've made. I never worked with monochrome techniques before, so we use only very limited amount of colors, but like super limited. Only 4 pencils for this one and 4 pencils for this one. But in a way you mix colors and bring in different highlights. You are trying to build volumes and contrast, and this was really tough. It was really tough challenge for me, but I think I've managed to pull this off. So I use a little bit gel pen for it as well, and a little bit of black pencil and white one, and the rest of the page of the spread done with only 8 colors. So I think it looks really nice. Also, I'm really pleased with the metal on this crown, and not so much with this one because it looked like it warped a lot, but it wasn't my intention. I just tried to figure out how to place the highlights on the metal. I worked a lot with non-metallic metal techniques when I was painting miniatures, but when you have a miniature you have a 3D object, and it's really different level of challenge to make metal look metallic, and on a flat surface it's not so obvious really how to put highlights, but I'm working on it. And actually when I quit miniature painting, well, not like quit, but it's on a very long pause. I saw that I hated non-metallic metal because it's very exhausting. It's take a lot of patience because miniature painting is usually done with acrylics and they dry really fast, so you have to work in very thin layers and build up these highlights. And to build the highlight from black to white, you have to put a lot of layers, like really a lot of layers. And with pencils it's so much easier to do because, yeah, even if you're working with layering technique, you may need only like 5 or maybe 6 layers. It's nothing compared to what I've been struggling to do in miniatures before. So yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, so I decided to actually start a new Kirby page right after I finished this one. And yeah, it's still work in progress, but you can see the idea there. And I think I'm gonna do the elephant with gold, so I will be doing gold elephant, or maybe I'll do gold ears and silver elephant, or white gold elephant and yellow gold ears. I don't know yet, but I'm really inspired by this picture now. But there was a very big mistake made when I started this one. So after I finished this, I sealed the page with my usual gloss acrylic finish, and I used masking tape to mask the frame of this picture, and then I used masking tapes there, and then I decided to leave it for a night. I don't know why, but the masking tape stick really well, and I have to pull it off with really a lot of force, and you can see that there are, yeah, like these marks. So the paper was ripped with the masking tape. So now for this picture I have only one option: do the background with acrylics. So no, there will be no watercolors at least on the background because of this stuff. There I will use acrylics because they will smooth the paper a little bit and make it more even. So I can't use pencils actually on this type of damage. I don't think that it will work well. You can see that there are still some pieces of paper. Yeah, it was that bad. But I think I can do acrylic background and then fill the rest of the page with pencils. I'm not really looking forward to this page. Actually, I'm not really Egyptian type girl. I don't have a very specific interest in Egypt, actually, but I think I'll do it anyway, and it's gonna be beautiful. But yeah, don't leave your masking tape overnight. It will be a mistake you will regret. And actually, there was some of the same stuff on this page, so there is some damage. I tried to cover it with watercolors here and there, and yeah, you can definitely notice this mark if you looked very close, but when you look on the picture as a whole, it doesn't bother me a lot. So yeah, that was a mistake, but it wasn't so bad as it wasn't so bad after all. And another stuff that I discovered while working on the elephant, it was just an idea I had after working in the Japanese book I just showed you. I said that there were some, I don't know, solvent on the pages, and which make them seem like they are made of plastic. So I decided, why not trying to do this on this page? I could actually seal this page with something and then just go over with the watercolors, so the paper will hold water better. You know, I have a Russian edition of this book, and the paper there is like, well, it's like really thin. I don't know whether original Kirby books have the same paper, but this one not so good. When I tried to do the watercolor background there, you can see what happened. Yes, this was my first watercolor background, I know, but still it wasn't very pleasing to work on it, and some of the watercolors actually bleed through the page. So this is why I have such beautiful bright background there. But even if you look here, you can see that the paper didn't leave much opportunity to work on it. It sucked the paint really fast. So I used this stuff. It's a matte medium for acrylic paints. So I just put some drops of this stuff and dissolve it with water, 50-50 I guess, maybe a little bit more water actually. And then I used a very big brush to cover all the background with this solvent and let it dry overnight. And then when I started to work with watercolors on this page, watercolors performed really well on this sealed paper, and also they did not bleed through, and I was so afraid that they will, because this one is done, and if I ruin this picture I will be like devastated because I worked so hard on it. So yeah, this really worked great. So if you have bad paper, you can dissolve your acrylic paints, like white acrylic paint, or matte medium, or I don't know, maybe gloss medium will work, any kind of medium, with water, and go over this paper, and then watercolors will behave very nicely for you. So drop the comment if you want to see how I'm doing it for, I don't know, some other page. I think I'll do watercolor background for this one. So if you're interested in these techniques, if you want me to show you that it's actually worked in my book and you're afraid to experiment on your own in yours, so just drop a comment and I'll do it for you. So this was all my finished pages for the December. There were I guess 6 of them, 6 illustrations I did in December. That's a lot for me. I usually do 4 or 5, sometimes only 3. But now I think I will have more free time for my hobby. And yeah, see you next month. Bye bye!